recorder of man's deeds, the keeper of his conscience, the courier of his news, that we look for strength and assistance. Without debate, without criticism, no administration and no country can succeed, and no republic can survive.
It's May 12th, 2020. It is trash day, and we're taking the media out. They've been lying, so we decided that we would expose them today. Many of you know this. Many of you have been following along. Take out the media and take out the trash. Reaching an all-time level of banning and suppression, and it's equivalent to the book burning that has taken place many a times throughout many of centuries. That is the equivalent of censorship, the other narrative that you don't like, that you don't necessarily, could be truth. Most of the time it is. Why is YouTube not shut down all the CNN videos and NBC videos of fake Russia propaganda pushing? I don't know. We're going to look into that a little bit. We got Ben here this morning. We got the Oath of Two. And we're going to jump right on into it. Just make sure you are subscribed. And here at the Patriot Hour, we always encourage you to think for yourself, come to all your own conclusions, listen to everybody you want, subscribe to all the channels, read all the articles, come to your own conclusions based off that. Don't believe anybody until you can verify it. All right, without further ado, let's jump on in. Brother.
Good morning,
Good
brother
morning.
in arms. Yes, love. Eloquent, when we say do your own research. Become part of the team, boots on the ground. We love it.
Get the chats going here for everybody. Okay, Tuesday Trash Talk. There it is. And boom.
Take out the papers and the trash.
Yiggity yak. Don't
Keep it
talk
going
back.
down. Just sipping on a little bit of morning bean juice.
A little bit of that Bane Joas.
Jim Tipton, Semper Fi, boys. Yes, good sir. Yellow fellow brother in arms. Good morning. Good morning to all the Patriots, veterans, those who are currently serving and those who have served, all the oath keepers, those who are currently keeping it and should continually keep their oath. Good morning to all of you guys. Good to have you guys with us this morning. Mike and I were in Garage Talk this morning, just doing what we normally do, kind of briefing on, what was happening the night before. Some good information's come out. This whole thing with Flynn, we're really hoping that's going to be a big gaping hole of information coming out, because this was kind of the linchpin of things. We're looking at the media and how they're really spinning everything, and how they're really they're ramping up the fear. And like Mike was saying earlier, how these platforms that Mike's on, that we're on, that you guys are on right now, these people, I mean, they have an agenda. And if you don't think so, you could still see, like Mike was saying, you can still see videos of them pushing fear and propaganda. And in fact, the algorithm's taking that and running with it. And
Dirty algae.
Dirty algae. Yes. Kentucky Patriot, Semper Fi. Yes. Be vigilant. We agree with you.
Hashtag Obamagate. That's huge. Trump tweeted that.
It's huge.
Folks, it's turning. We are now seeing the shift of the tides, so to say. We know that you guys know about the fake news. I mean, it ain't nothing new, right? We're just here to help expose it and travel this journey together. So what we are seeing is historical. It was interesting to hear the Bill Barr speech edited by Chuck Todd. They submissively just totally changed the context. And if you listen to the full thing, which is now out, He had talked about, history is written by the winners. That's something we say a lot here, isn't it, Ben? And what's the significance
Whose story?
of that?
Is it her story or is it his story?
His story. His story. The winners are writing it because why? Typically, the losers aren't around, or they're not free to write it, or
they're suppressed. I mean, we know this has
death,
happened not just in
maybe,
our society.
or killed in war, or
yes,
not around, or
this is going on for thousands of years. People, when one society would conquer the other society, they would try to tear down the old gods and garb of the old society to incorporate the new, or sometimes they would do the blending of the two to subside the people. We know this. This has happened time and time again. And if you talk to your friends over the water coolers, over the phone, I'm like, yeah, the media is getting out of hand, but yet you're there every morning watching it, ready for your morning dose of, I like a little bit of weather, I like a little bit of fear, and a cup of coffee in the morning. That's my go-getter.
truth juice.
And you even know the weatherman's only right half the time, and you're just as good as a quote-unquote meteorological practitioner. If you just go outside, read a little barometric pressure, little dew point, humidity, temperature. I mean, come on now. Didn't we learn this in the 3rd, 4th grade? How do you know if it's going to rain? Go outside.
It's very, very, how many times is, I know when I was out in the Virginia Beach area, stationed out there, that it was, rain tomorrow, this and that. So I wouldn't make plans to make the 30, 40-minute trip to the beachfront, and then it wouldn't rain. It'd be sunnier than all get out. And then by the time you start thinking about it, it's like, man, they ruined my day. Anybody getting fired for that? No. They're weather guessers. So last night, late, breaking, DNI Richard Journell declassifies the list of Obama officials involved in unmasking of Flynn. Now, if you remember, these people went around and acted like they didn't knew nothing about it on the TV shows.
Real dumbfounded.
The big thing we saw, folks, is all these people in the stuff the other day that we were going over a little bit, where me and Fluid Poor Patriot were acting like one and the other, than me and Ben were. It was them all on the record saying they knew nothing of Russia collusion. They had zero evidence, all the key players, every one of them. But then for the next 2 years out in the news channels, they pitched other things. So people are like, isn't that lying? Isn't that treason? It's like, well, I don't know. Under oath, at the right time, they said the right thing. But it was hidden stuff, and they knew it would remain hidden. But then are they able to go out and pitch just propaganda, straight up lies into the media? Is there a rule against that, Ben, that you know of? Or, I mean, is that just showing that the fake news is fake news? I mean, what other than that?
They're allowed to give propaganda to their own people. Look at the Smith-Munt Act, you guys, and look at how that in time of war, they can propagate their own people because they know the quote-unquote enemy is watching. And if they deem we the people as the enemy, well, think about it. I mean, this is a time where, Mike and I have always shouted this from the rooftops. The New World Order is not going to have what Mike likes to say, a ribbon cutting ceremony. They're not going to have parades through every major city. It's going to be we the people by being brainwashed. Yep. Because you will freely give it away. What did old Bill Cooper tell us? That the New World Order will make you want to give up your rights.
Yeah.
You'll scream for protection, for the illusion of
begging.
protection.
You'll throw your gun into the back of that, trash truck that comes down willingly.
I mean, think about, the TSA people. I mean, a lot of you guys that work at the TSA, great people, good boots in the ground. But I got to say, how many actual hard breaches of security have been tried? How many actually, if you look at the statistics of what the TSA actually does with all this ramped up new crazy security, it does nothing. And the higher experts like Mike and I, who understand not only IT security, when you're trained in these kind of areas of security, you have what they call the illusion of security. Let me just break that down to layman's terms so you guys understand this. if a client comes to Mike and I and say, look, we have 50 employees, they want to make sure that when they go on their emails, they're going to be their information is not going to be hacked from China or Russia, right? And so Mike and we're going to put up a firewall. We're going to put up these different devices inside the client's building. And this is going to be yet another layer of security. All the meanwhile telling the customer you can never be 100% secure. You can only offer layers of security. And so what you're doing is you're basically, how many layers does your client want until he or she feels comfortable that they have the illusion of security? And that is just, how much money do you want to spend for super crazy, DOD level of security? And so it's the illusion of security. Police officers don't come to prevent crimes. They only come when either one is being committed or one that has been committed to another person.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so this is just logical thinking. And this is what Mike and I always try to scream out, to you guys, because it's so important just to see this for what it is and then take a stand for what you believe to be right and the dots that you've connected.
Yeah, that's all you got to get a good grasp. So we're going to jump over to these D classes because this is huge, folks.
Big stuff.
So breaking, let me get this a little bigger here for you.
Now we know how big unmasking is. We're aware of that.
Yeah.
That's huge.
So DNI Richard Gurnell declassifies a list of Obama officials involved in the unmasking of Flynn in his conversations with Kislyak. So breaking update, acting DNI Richard Gurnell declassified the list of Obama officials involved in the unmasking of General Mike Flynn in his conversations with Russian Ambassador Sergei Kislyak. Gurnell was seen delivering a satchel of documents to the DOJ last week, and according to ABC, he also discussed the list of Obama officials involved in unmasking of Flynn. The names of the officials were involved in the unmasking of Flynn and his calls to Kislyak have not been released to the public yet. So, acting director of the National Intelligence, Richard Gurnell, thought to declassify a list of former Obama administration officials who were allegedly involved in the so-called unmasking of former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn in his conversations with the former Russian ambassador during the presidential transition. Gurnell, who remains U.S. ambassador to Germany, along with being the acting DNI, visited the Justice Department last week to discuss the declassification of the list, according to the official. So now we got to recall General Flynn's December 2016 phone calls with the Russian ambassador, Sergei Kislyak, were intercepted, and Flynn was illegally unmasked. After Flynn's identity was revealed, the transcripts of his phone calls were then leaked to the Washington Post.
Leaked, you guys.
Systematically. Another little domino. So Flynn's leaked calls were published by the WAPO, Washington Post. David Ignatius on January 12th, 2017, which led to Flynn being fired as NSA advisor. Obama's former NatSec security advisor, Susan Rice, was forced to acknowledge she unmasked Trump's senior advisors during the transitional period. However, she maintained it was not politically motivated. According to previous reports by John Solomon, Obama's ambassador to the UN, Samantha Power, was also unmasked hundreds of Americans in Obama's last year in office. In fact, Samantha Power thought to unmask Americans on a near daily basis. Congressman Nunes has been the front lines accusing the criminal Obama administration of illegally unmasking Trump's transition team, and it looks like we may soon find out who targeted Flynn. The Justice Department dropped its case against Flynn last Thursday after the bombshell documents were released, showing that he was framed.
I mean, think about that. I mean, this is they make movies, songs are sung, books are written about, I was framed, and through my insurance and whoever, my knowledge, I was able to exonerate myself. And I mean, this is huge, people. A lot of people, you hear about this, they go to jail for 30 years, and now DNA, new technology, exonerates them. I mean, look how quick the information is there to exonerate.
Read that one, Ben.
Keg.
By
we
Jack.
also
By
tweeted-
Jack. Half
by
pint
Jack,
74.
74. I caught the swamp. I caught them all. Let's see what happens. Nobody else could have done but me. 6 months ago, November 9th, 2019, fourth dimensional chess indeed. Go get him, Mr. President.
I'll never forget the time he said that. Still gives me goosebumps each time I'm reminded of it. So they're talking about what Ben just read there, power sports. So Jack,
Yes,
again,
yes.
Yep, when he said that, I said excitedly, I can't wait to see what happens. He doesn't say things for no reason. What he says may seem off the cuff and sound innocent or just a statement in a moment of aggravation, but usually it's not. That's kind of where I agree. This has been one of the
Well,
biggest
we're seeing the
thing-
art of trolling. Yes, we're seeing the art of disinformation.
He's a wartime prez, folks. That's crazy.
You think about the powers that a president has during the time of war, and it seems like we've been so used to the Congress being in session 365 days a year, never being out of session. We're kind of used to the presidents always operating under a time of war, because I've been born in my lifetime. We've pretty much been at war the whole entire time.
Yeah. All right, I'll let you read a little bit of this one here.
Oh, President Obama's hands are dirty. They are beyond dirty, super dirty. He has judicial blood on his hands.
I thought
Former
everyone's
US
been
Attorney
washing
Joe
their hands.
DeGenova. Uh-oh, he don't wash no bloody hands. The deep state revealed former U.S. Attorney Joe DeGenova was again on the morning radio show, Mornings on the Mall, and he dropped some shocking statements about former President Obama and his administration.
Now, I'd like to add real quick here, folks, that Joe DeGenova was one of the forefathers. He actually wrote up the whole FISA when we got that shortly after 9/11. He was one of them that wrote up the ground rules. He was like there at the beginning of the whole thing. So he understands that process really well.
Very well. Yes, yes. This week was an interview by Mark Walter and Tony Schaefer, who appeared as guest hosts. Right after the 3-minute and 10-second mark, DeGenova says, when you put together the last 24 hours, the comments by former President Obama that this is a threat to the rule of law, unquote, which is an utter joke coming out of his mouth. When you put together that Mary McCord's opted and then some of the statements from the people associated with Mueller, you realize that the Mueller probe was the beginning, nothing more than a pretext to get the president impeached. And you realize that anybody in the senior FBI or DOJ levels were in on it. And what's really fascinating is that when you go back...
Oh, whoa. Whoops. There you go.
Let's see here. When you go back and look at the January 5th, 2017 in the Oval Office, all the intelligence community leaders, the Vice President, Biden, Sally Yates, Comey, Brennan, Rice, and the President of the United States in the meeting, Barack Obama is discussing the ongoing investigation into the Trump campaign, the inner transition, and the Trump presidency. And Obama says that in the meeting, according to Susan Rice, he wants to be kept informed so he can decide whether or not they are going to withhold classified information from being the incoming administration involving Russia. That is sedition, people. Treason, craziness. This is beyond anything we've ever heard about a president leaving office, doing this to a successor. What Obama did in the office was sedition on that day, and every day after that was poison from, fruit from the poisonous tree, people.
Moving forward, yes. So then
Next
at
on the
7-minute
mark, yeah.
Go ahead and read it.
Genova says, President Obama's hands are dirty, they're beyond dirty, okay. He responsible injustice. He could have stopped it. He could have said, what you idiots are doing. This is against the duly elected president. And this is the United States, Donald Trump. Why are you doing this? He didn't encourage it. He did have the brazen to talk about a brazen plot how brazen they are sitting in the Oval Office on January 5th and saying that they might not share intelligence with the incoming administration. And you know what that means? That means they didn't want to give it to General Flynn. At the 10-minute mark, DeGenova says, people forgot because the MSM will not cover the FISA court decision that the two chief justices in the FISA court, Collier and Bosberg, have written multiple opinions, scathing opinions, accusing the Obama FBI and Justice Department of violating constitutional privacy of American citizens by unmasking and leaking that information to the press. Like, this is, oh my gosh.
It's against the law, folks.
A huge Obama and his gang were the most corrupt group in U.S. history, people. This is getting crazy.
Gotta, get us back here.
This is amazing. So if...
All right, hold on. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just, you think about, everybody's like, oh, that's so past tense, and that was just what happened there. It's like, you guys, for the last, ever since 2016, we've been under this crazy narrative, and more than 80% of the country's been running around with like chickens with their heads cut off, not knowing who's who, what's what, up is down, and anytime the newsman says something, they ask, how high should I jump? And it's getting crazier and crazier. At the same time, the amount of information that's coming out is mind-boggling. I mean, how many links have we showed you here in the show where they're getting all the transcripts coming out? We just went over a few of them. I mean, there's so much information out there to go sift through that, Mike and I can't do, and the team here can't do all the research that is truly needed to get to the bottom of this stuff. That's why it takes an army of like you guys. And it's just really amazing that if you see propaganda in the news, it's like you call it out. I mean, I know you shouldn't talk at the TV or like when I'm listening to YouTube and the commercials come on, but I kind of yell at them. I try to break the wizardry spell, the propaganda. It's going to be coming up hard, you guys, when it comes to this next political, coming up here in election time frames. You think the mudslinging when it came to the political videos was bad back in the day? It's going to be out of control. Like they're going to be making statements like, Trump is Hitler, and then they want you to give your guns to Hitler. That kind of stuff. I mean, just crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Prepare yourself. It's only going to get crazier.
I agree. I'm just looking at some stuff here, reading.
And this unmasking thing was really huge because, they did it in an illegal way to take people out, to take those who, I wouldn't say knows where the bodies are at, but has a very key touch to where the information is coming from. I mean, when you're a general, you have a mighty high security clearance. You understand operational. You have connections with all the intelligence agencies, militarily and hybrid, quote unquote, civilian / federal. Right? So you have all these access to this. And so this is a man who, if the deep state was making their moves, he's like the number one target that they need to take out to clear the road because everybody else was too compartmentalized. They didn't quite understand what was happening, who was with who. And another reason why a lot of what we've been hearing in the last few years is how come they're not arresting? How come they're not arresting? Everything was hemmed up with this one man almost, just Flynn. A lot of stuff. It was almost like he's like the linchpin that kind of gets this next thing to the next level. So it's going to be interesting what comes out.
It's going to be very interesting to keep following along because we got President Obama's hands are dirty. And that is just something we've been pitching here for at least 3 years, Ben, that we knew this went back. But it seems like the process had to play out. We had to get the actual like investigations done that were made up on Trump to be able to get back to this, and then this has had to been slow roll and almost like a process. Like this uncovered that, now we're back to this point, and now that's uncovering this, and now the echo chambers of Obama. Now that we're seeing meetings that Biden and Obama were in on with, and they wanted to know everything the FBI was doing. Now, didn't they scream that Trump had no right to get with Comey and ask him about loyalty and that we need separation of should not be dealing with the FBI? Well, what, because this case dealt with him? Like, possibly, is that the reason? But, you know, for Obama, it was okay because it didn't deal with Obama. It was dealing with Trump, too. So Obama could work with the FBI because it was dealing with Trump. Now, when Trump gets in, he couldn't work with the FBI because it was dealing with him. But yet we find out that to be all lies and fake, and that the actual crimes and treason and sedition were all on their end. But they were, you know, isn't that kind of funny?
And how many governors and senators got into their place of power with the Obama administration setting them up? I mean, I'm looking real hard into a lot of these crazy governors, mine being one of them, who are really sticking their head out way far out beyond their jurisdiction and getting this illusion of authority, like we talked about the illusion of security, right? It's the same idea, folks. And were these people propped up? You got to talk about the AOCs of Congress and all these different crazy, you know, there is a small fraction. And I'm not talking the left, the right. I'm talking about these people who are really showing their true colors. I mean, you know, Mike and I, we're intelligent enough to understand science, but we're never going to put on a white lab coat and pocket protectors and get all science up and shoot a video, because we know that if you see us in a white lab coat, you'll listen to us more because you think we're more credible with a white lab coat, but the information's the exact same coming across the mic. I mean, this is a hard thing to break, and so, you know, Mike and I are used to, you know, individuals kind of saying, well, that doesn't seem right, because it has to be a slow roll, man. People who've been, I'll say it, brainwashed, literally brainwashed, because I was one of them. And it takes many years to get out, especially, I mean, it's almost easier now to get out of brainwashing than it was back when you and I were going through the struggle, because now there's so much information.
It's available.
There's so much more people. The movement, it's okay. It's like we all know the CIA did a document during the JFK, right after assassination, and then the actual word conspiracy theorist was coined. We know all this. This is all out in the open now. This isn't like, you know, you're just you put those crazy things together. You're a coon. You're a local. You're a nut.
Yeah. Okay, hold on here. What do we got? We're going to check this out. Let me get Ben's audio on.
Gowdy.
A little bit of that Gowdy.
Rowdy Gowdy.
Admiral
You could hear that, right?
Rogers said there are 20 people
gotcha.
within the NSA that are part of the unmasking process. How many people within the FBI are part of the unmasking process?
I don't know for sure as I sit here, surely more, given the nature of the FBI's work. We come into contact with U.S. persons a whole lot more than the NSA does, because we may be conducting, we only conduct our operations in the United States to collect electronic surveillance, to conduct electronic surveillance. So I can find out the exact number. I don't know it as I sit here.
Well, I think, Director Comey, given the fact that you and I agree this is critical, vital, indispensable, a similar program is coming up for reauthorization this fall with a pretty strong headwind right now, it would be nice to know the universe of people who have the power to unmask a U.S. citizen's name, because that might provide something of a roadmap to investigate who might have actually disseminated a masked U.S. citizen's name.
Sure, the number is relevant, but what I hope the American people will realize is the number is important, but the culture behind it is, in fact, more important. The training, the rigor, the discipline. We are obsessive about FISA and the FBI for reasons I hope make sense to this committee, but we are, everything that's FISA has to be labeled in such a way to warn people, this is FISA. We treat this in a special way. So we can get you the number, but I want to assure you the culture of the FBI and the NSA around how we treat U.S. person information is obsessive, and I mean that in a good way.
Director Comey, I am not arguing with you, and I do agree the culture is important, but if there are 100 people who have the ability to unmask and the knowledge of a previously masked name, then that's 100 different potential sources of investigation. And the smaller the number is, the easier your investigation is. So the number is relevant. I concede the culture is relevant. NSA, FBI, what other U.S. government agencies have the authority to unmask a U.S. citizen's name?
Get them.
Well, I think all agencies that collect information pursuant to FISA have what are called standard minimization procedures, which are approved by the FISA court that govern how they will treat U.S. person information. So I know the NSA does, I know the CIA does, obviously the FBI does. I don't know for sure beyond that.
How about the Department of how about Maine Justice?
Maine Justice, I think, does have standard minimization procedures.
All right, so that's 4. The NSA, FBI, CIA,
There's a lot
Maine
more.
Justice.
Get them, Gowdy.
Does the White House have the authority to unmask a U.S. citizen's name?
I think other elements of the government that are consumers of our products can ask the collectors to unmask. The unmasking resides with those who collected the information. And so if Mike Rogers' folks collected something and they send it to me in a report and it says U.S. person number 1, and it's important for the FBI to know who that is, our request will go back to them. The White House can make similar requests of the FBI or of NSA, but they can't they don't on their own collect, and so they can't on their own unmask. I got that about right? Yeah.
I guess what I'm getting at, Director Comey, is you say it's vital, you say it's critical, you say it's indispensable. We both know it's a threat to the reauthorization of 702 later on this fall. And oh, by the way, it's also a felony punishable by up to 10 years. So how would you begin your investigation, assuming for the sake of argument that a U.S. citizen's name appeared in the Washington Post and the New York Times unlawfully? Where would you begin that investigation?
Well, I'm not going to talk about any particular investigation.
That's why I said in theory.
You would start by figuring out, so who are the suspects? Who touched the information that you've concluded ended up unlawfully in the newspaper?
Which was
Start
him.
with that universe, and then use investigative tools and techniques to see if you can eliminate people or include people as more serious suspects.
Do you know whether Director Clapper knew the name of the U.S. citizen that appeared in the New York Times and Washington Post?
I can't say in this forum because, again, I don't want to confirm that there was classified information in the newspaper.
Would he
gets
have
into
access to an
executive-
unmasked name?
In
Yes,
some
he
circumstances,
would.
sure. He was the Director of National Intelligence, but I'm not talking about the particular.
DNI.
Would Director Brennan have access to an unmasked U.S. citizen's name?
In some circumstances, yes.
Yep.
Would National Security Advisor Susan Rice have access to an unmasked U.S. citizen's name?
I think yes, in general, and any other national security advisor would, I think,
Get 'em,
as a matter of
Gowdy.
their ordinary course of their business.
Would former White House advisor Ben Rhodes have access to an unmasked U.S. citizen's name?
I don't know the answer to that.
Would former Attorney General Loretta Lynch have access to an unmasked U.S. citizen's name?
In general, yes, as would any attorney general.
So that would also include acting AG Sally Yates.
Same answer.
Did you?
Oh, you guys, do you see? He only labels off like, me, the FBI, of course, the CIA, the NSA, that's 3, right? And then, Gowdy's like, wham, well, what about this guy? This guy, yes, yep, and some, yes. You guys, this is so out of hand because the last administration really changed, and we've touched on this, how information is handled and who gets to handle it, and they'll scream from we were doing the right to orders, we were going SOP procedures, we're good. Whoa. A little black screen. Oh, hey.
So
There it is.
I mean, look at this. U.S. officials have declassified the list of Obama officials who are involved in unmasking of General Flynn. So we already kind of read all this. That Richard Jernell guy has declassified the list of these Obama officials who broke the law. That's like one serious crime. This whole time they were going after a made-up one that Trump did stuff and blah, 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 blah. But we always said
these are actual black and white crimes committed. There's no gray area. Well, he meant us as like our administration, not us as America. So that's why he was asking for a favor.
Fox News reported back in 2017 that disclosing of Flynn's identity could be a felony punishable by up to 10 years in prison because rules state that if an American with constitutional protections is collaterally caught in such surveillance, his or her identity must be protected, not leaked.
Due process.
So in an interview last week, Barr said that the charges against Flynn were dropped because the FBI, which under the leadership of then director James Comey eats corn and he don't care, were not conducting a legitimate law enforcement investigation. Legitimate. Think about
No
that for me.
duh and legitimate.
Legitimate.
We just make you understand these things. Yes, yes.
So when asked if Obama administration set a trap for Flynn, Barr responded, yes, essentially. They started a counterintelligence investigation during the summer. And as you know, related to the campaign, but in December, the team Crossfire Hurricane was closing that and determined that they had found nothing to justify continuing that investigation against Flynn. On that very day, they prepared the final papers up on the 7th floor. The 7th floor, no more. That is the director's office and deputy's director's office up there. They sent down the word that they should keep it open. Barr continued that they could try to go and question Flynn about his call that he had with the Russian ambassador, and in this one particular episode, but we view it as part of a number of related acts. Remember, we talked about those dominoes falling all in awesome order.
Awesome
you know,
order.
all in awesome order, and they just kind of stack.
Yes. The biggest one for last, I'm hoping.
It's kind of real glitchy, and it's just a glitchy system
in the deep state.
So let me see here. We got
this is. I mean, you guys. They opened up a counterintelligence investigation. They literally used an agency, the most powerful counterintelligence agency on God's earth. Literally, we're touted as our the number one collection, besides like Israel's Mossad and some other countries as well. But it's just crazy.
I didn't mean to throw that on, but I did. Let's just see here.
It's crazy. Do you think? This is crazy, you guys.
CIA Director John Brennan apologized today after an internal investigation determined the agency had spied on staff members of the United States Senate.
You just stop and think about what they're kind of feeding you. Biden? Shut up, Biden there and get one. It happens to the rogue samurai who has no leader to follow.
We know. John Podesta admits in testimony both DNC and Hillary campaign split the cost. All right, well,
There we go.
that's not really the one I wanted, but let me see here, guys, because nobody says it better than this one I did. So let me see here if I can find it. Live dashboard, channel dashboard, videos. It's only a matter of time.
You know, I gotta. You know, we want to promote more hope that that a better future is coming. We know if there's a dark side, a force, a deep swamp, state, whatever you want to call it, then there's a force of good. Those who stand the higher ground and look down upon the deep swamp. And like, okay, this is an area we need to clear out. It's like burn the dead wood, so we can clear out for new growth. And so we're hoping for this. I mean, even this is a time
where we live at. It's a time of springtime, a time of rebirth, a time of, where, our earth is all right. Everything is coming around. Birds are chirping. This is a time of almost rebirth. And, how awesome is it to we feel the, it's almost like it's like our government's really starting to show the traitors and patriots are starting to come, brew to the top with, like, when you, what is it, the they talk about the cauldron of warfare. Only it doesn't matter. It doesn't, that makes all men equal, because only the heroes rise. And at this point in time, it's like, we're burning off the impurities of governors, of senators, of people who are in there, and only those who stand on the truth and for the Constitution,
Yes.
we the people, are going to be left after this crazy crucible of truth comes out and it makes everybody equal. Like, I think this truth is really going to make that comes out everybody equal to the fact that we all realize that we've all been like this.
Yes.
All right, check this out.
Check this one out. We're just going to watch a few seconds of this one as well.
I'm gonna bring the whole fucking diseased corrupt temple down on your head. It's gonna be biblical.
You'll talk about a different
What protects all of us is that the government has to have proof beyond a reasonable doubt, at least under Justice Department standards, before we indict anybody. And that's a pretty substantial hurdle. And no one is going to go to jail, and no one's going to be indicted unless that standard is met.
Trap. 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 Trap.
And then they start calling for scalps. So, nowadays I'm constantly hit. Why aren't people going to prison for what they did to the president? On the other side, throw Bill Barr in prison. And these things take time.
Trap. Noun. 1. Trap. Definition of trap. Entry 1 of 4. 1. A device for taking game or other animals, especially one that holds by springing shut suddenly. 2a. Something by which one is caught or stopped unawares, also a position or situation from which it is difficult or impossible to escape. Trap.
These things take time.
Trap. 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 Trap.
Trap.
Trap.
Trap.
Trap.
Trap. Trap. Trap. Trap. Trap. Trap. We got some new cue. Very nice. Very nice.
Traps. Wig splitting traps. Hey.
Oh, I love it.
I trap, this year I'm looking at trapping some coyotes. Now, coyotes are a scavenger omnivore. They're real opportunistic. And so with my the stick that shoots lead at a high rate, and then my trap made of special wire, usually connects them and then it stops at a certain, so it doesn't quite choke them. I got to use a little 22 to put them out of its misery. One to the head, you're good to go. So a trap is very important. And what do I bait the traps with? Something sweet. Something sweet.
Yeah.
A little treat.
Sweet.
Something you just can't
Sweet
resist.
to nibble on. Think about
some fear for humans to. Oh, that's so good. That fear, it makes you want to. It feels so good. Cortisol's pumping through your body. Gotcha. I don't care. Give me some more of that cake.
All right. Well, we are at that time. Let's do our
Let's
do our
yes,
shout-outs.
Massachusetts. Gary Smalley, December 5, Patriot from Massachusetts. Yes, let's give a shout out. Go ahead.
Where you lay your
we're
head,
shouting out.
where you put your hat is where you're home.
Mary Wolf, ask if your meat came from China. Don't buy meat unless it's from your local area, Mary.
Don't buy meat from China. Kentucky's in the house. Low Michigan.
A little bit
Lower
of that Kentuck.
Oklahoma, Ohio, Bay Area, and the Cali, South Kakalaki always facing the
Ohio,
house.
Delaware,
Arizona,
upstate New
City of
York,
Hope.
New York, big city of
Washington,
dreaming. Ohio, Conroe in the house.
Conroe, Texas,
Alabama, Boneham,
Boneham,
Texas, Jersey, Communist, New Jersey, Phoenix, Arizona,
PA, Arizona,
Texas,
New York, upstate style, Gaston County, North Kakalaki, Tennessee,
Broward
Canada
County,
up to the north,
a little West Virginia,
Colorado. Oh,
Nova
Lake
Scotia,
Orion.
Patriot, Belfast,
Nice.
across the
Nice.
pond,
Love you guys. Keep on fighting.
Bama,
Yeah. Bama, like some of the Alabama, Tacoma, Washington.
Tacoma in the house, Wyoming,
Yes, I agree with you. Yes,
Ring
yes,
Road.
Washington State. Missouri.
Kansas City, Missouri,
Got you guys.
Kansas City, Missouri. You got
North and
Texas,
South Kakalakis.
Prison City,
Brighton,
Michigan,
UK. What up, Ohio? Pennsylvania.
Brunswick,
God's country.
Boise, Idaho. Give me a potato there.
Boise. China, Northern California.
Little Hanover, yo gun. Pennsylvania.
Hanover.
Don't Hanover, yo gun in
Rabbit
Pennsylvania. Don't Hanover.
Oregon coast, great fishing out there.
Little
Orange
South
County, we got you
Dakota,
here. South Dakota, you guys are holding it strong. You guys are awesome out there.
Philly, Motown, Philly. Back
In
again.
the wood.
Out in the woods, off the grid.
Mm-hmm.
Off
Loving
that
it, you
grid.
guys. Ohio.
Holland,
You guys are rocking out there.
Amsterdam,
the
smoke
Netherlands,
one
you
for
guys
me
got
if you got it.
Parker, Colorado, Iowa, Maine,
Elkhart,
Elkhart, Indiana.
city with a heart. What's up, David?
City with a heart.
It's going to
Want
be
to be
biblical.
biblical.
Yes.
Yes.
President Trump could be the greatest ever president. Maybe. Hey, gotta wait. Woodburn, Oregon. Airborne. All the way.
Illinois.
Sheeples wake up.
NOLA.
Robin.
Oh,
Shithole,
Louisiana.
Illinois.
Orange County, what's up in the house?
Shithole. Stand strong.
Yes, you guys.
A little bit of that goat farming in Arizona.
Yeah, Northeast Arizona, what up? Oh, you guys are awesome, man. So many Patriots coming from all over, from Australia, I see, Oregon.
Hashtag
this is
Obamagate.
crazy. Obamagate. You know it's
Hot Springs, Arkansas. Locked and
I love
loaded.
it.
Texas.
KY
God
Patriot
bless.
69. I agree with you guys, man.
What a great show.
You know,
What'd you guys
it
think of
is,
the new
man.
build
All
here? I kind of like this new build.
I really
Nice
enjoy it.
little,
It's real clean. I like it. Everybody can see. I got
little
the
bit different.
all the comments coming up right to
Oh,
here, which is
yeah.
just perfect. And I can see the little live and here. I mean, pretty much, going this way area. So it looks great, man.
It's awesome. It's
Um,
awesome. If you guys
see what
like
you
the
guys
build, let's
got,
do some new polls we haven't done in a while. Number one, if you are enjoying your morning juju time here with the Patriot Hour, and
It's got to be at least 3 people. A 1 if this is the best.
one if this is our best. If we're still number one. Tomorrow we are going to be doing
2.
call-in shows.
Yes,
Love you too,
Colin.
Donna. Thank you, Donna. Thank
Okay,
you,
one. I'm seeing one
Donna.
across the
Oh,
board. Oh, Face, all you guys, all the mods. You guys are great.
thank you guys.
Patty Blythe, Kendra Carter, Florida Girl, Skilled Eye, Mad Catter, Cupcake Girl, LOL, Kentucky Patriot, December 5.
Wayne,
So I guess it's
Be my
okay,
candy girl.
so it is voted
Bonnie.
the
Thankful and
number
grateful.
one.
Thank
See
you.
you
We're
guys.
thankful and grateful for you.
yes, Patriots are ready, Chris Gordon. We agree with you. See you guys.
CZQ, we love you with coffee.
Oh, loving it,
Lynn,
loving it.
Spy in the Sky, thank you so much. Richard,
You see you guys.
William,
We like to take
Alan,
every now and then,
a little bit of time here for
polls.
you.
We like to keep our polls current. We take always population we can. So we've just confirmed right here, right now, at approximately 09:57 Eastern Standard Time, that's been voted the number one So come back tomorrow for the Patriot Hours call-in. We're taking more polls about how you feel about it, and let you know what's going on.
You guys are the best. Here at the Patriot Hour, I always like to give you a little shout out here once in a while and bring it back down to the people. We got Ben here in the studio. We got myself, and we just witnessed that we are still number one. We bring great quality. Yeah, tomorrow is live call-in show, Patriot's Choice. Call in with your problems if you got anything to get off your chest. It's call-in choice. You want to talk about the Corona Lime, you want to talk about Obamagate, you want to talk about East Coast, West Coast drama from the 90s with Biggie and Tupac. I don't care.
He's in Jamaica right now with
was
Biggie.
His last album Killuminati or not?
Was Elvis with him when he did his production? I mean, this is huge. This could be breaking in some people's worlds, not ours at this point in time. We'll get with you.
We love you, Patriots. We really do. Thank you for being here again. Again, we are heavily shadowbound, so share this. Take a minute after to just share the link. The show will be out there. And tomorrow we will be doing the live call-in show for you guys. And Caller's Choice. Look for that show at 9:30 to 10:30, maybe 9 a.m. to 10. Yeah, whenever we get around to it, it'll be an earlier show for sure. And maybe the boys will be with us. We kind of went early today, so who knows? But yeah, what a great show.
Yeah, and God bless you guys today rolling into this week. I know lots of good stuff's happening. Put on the armor of God. Fear God. It should be the only thing that you should fear. And understand that there is danger. That is real. Fear is not. That's something you should dwell on. So we all need to just move forward. Keep your family close, your friends close. Keep your community close, and keep driving on. And if you have to have a question, look at the Constitution. That has a pretty good outline of what you can and can't do as somebody who lives in the United States of America.
For a long time.
Oh, that's funny. Listen.
Obamagate. It's been going on for a long time. It's been going on from before I even got elected. And it's a disgrace that it happened. And if you look at what's gone on, and if you look at now all of this information that's being released, and from what I understand, that's only the beginning. Some terrible things happened, and it should never be allowed to happen in our country again.
What is the crime exactly that you're accusing him of?
You know what the crime is. The crime is very obvious to everybody.
Well, let's bring in Congressman, GOP Congressman.
Very obvious to everybody.
Very obvious. If you got to ask for it, then you're in the wrong position.
You haven't been paying attention. All right.
I'm a journalist, good sir. Brother in arms, salute you. God bless you and your family. All you guys watching, have a wonderful day. And keep up to date on the page. There are more content coming. Yes,
we're trying to get our internet up. We're at our festival coming up. We got time. We're going to start moving forward. We got to make some phone calls here. So,
gears are turning.
Yep. Look for the next live show. If I don't do another live show today, which I don't have one in the books, but you never know. Maybe later this afternoon. But if not, tomorrow morning, live call-in, Caller's Choice. Be here. We appreciate it. Make sure you're subscribed and share this video and get the word out. Yeah. We appreciate it, folks. And leave a tip down below in the comment section. Some of the greatest patriots here to give you feedback, give you some feedback, and take you somewhere. Some of the greatest people.
Great show.
Great show.
God bless you guys.
What a great show. All right, we're going to shut this one down. We're at the hour mark. There is your Patriot Hour, hour-long show. We appreciate it, and we will see you back here on the next one. Have a great day.